again, everybody. It's the end of the PCA trade show almost, but we have a few more people we wanted to talk to before we leave. We're here with Noel Rojas, Rojas Cigars. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Doing great. It's been a great show. We have a lot of fun. This is actually the first show we actually do with PCA with the Rojas brand.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been a killing. I never thought that we would have such a good uh, a presentation at the trade show where the booth was almost full all the time.
It's true. We tried to come by here, 3 or 4 times, but we didn't want to interrupt your business before we talked to you. So, tell us about how your booth kind of came together. You have the chuck wagon here. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, the Rojas brand is a Texas brand. I live in Dallas. Even since I live in Cuba, I was always drawn by the whole Western thing. You know what I mean? And I said, my main thing is being different. So how can we make something different during the trade show? So I decided to this is actually custom made wagons in Nicaragua for us to have it at the trade show. So I decided to just make the wagons and see how they look like, and came out really good. They weigh a lot. That's a headache that we have to deal with. But other than that, everybody was happy how the booth looks like, so we can really complain.
All right. Yeah. Booth is great. Traffic is great. So congratulations on the first, show just as
Thank
your
you.
brand. It's great for you. So maybe you can walk us through some of your newer product and tell us what they're about.
Sure. So we have the KSG is one of the limited releases that I did this year. We brought it to the show. We only have a few boxes left by the time we got here, because we did 1,000 boxes, and within 24 hours we sold 850 of them. And the whole story with the KSG is very simple. As I decided to become the king of the small gauge cigars and go forward with the small ring gauges category concept, uh, I said we need a cigar that is going to make a statement on who we are and what we stand for. So in 2019, we bought a lot of good tobacco in Nicaragua from a specific farm that I really like. I think it's one of the best tobaccos that came out of there. And we bought a really good batch of wrapper. We have been aging that filler and wrapper for a long time, and every year we just use a little bit of that fillers and wrappers, mix it up with some other tobaccos that we actually grow in Nicaragua and ferment in Nicaragua, and we do a small run, limited edition of the king of the small gauges, the KSG, every year, using some of that tobacco. Now we do have plenty of tobacco for the next 7 releases. The good thing and the thing that I can weigh is how those cigars are going to be tasting like as we go forward in time. By the time we ended up with the last amount of tobacco, it's going to be 7 years. So it's going to be something that I'm looking forward to.
Awesome.
KSG, it's not a break the bank type of cigar. For a limited edition, I try to keep it where everybody can buy it and they can appreciate the flavors of the cigar. It's a $14 MSRP. If uh, your followers find them in any store, uh, they won't be disappointed if they buy it,
Yeah.
because this particular cigar, so far, everybody that's smoked it said out of the Rojas line, this is the best that you have.
That's great.
It's a Lonsdale, 614 by 42 with a tip head. So if you guys out there find it, don't hesitate to buy it because you won't be disappointed with that cigar.
So your motto is no small or no large ring gauge, only small ring gauges?
Exactly. So the whole thing with the Rojas line is a small ring gauge is only under 50, and it's a very simple reason why. There's a thing called ratio between wrapper and fillers on cigars.
Right.
And as you go wider on the ring gauge, uh, the flavor you can actually feel out of the wrapper decrease.
Right.
And as you go smaller on the ring gauge, you can actually taste more flavor of the wrapper because you use the same amount of wrapper, same amount, whether you're rolling a Lancero 7.5 by 38, which is a really skinny cigar, or you're rolling a 7 by 70. If you see some videos on YouTube, you will see that you only use a half leaf of tobacco for the wrapper. So what happened is the overlay of the tobacco wrapper when they roll a lancero, the amount of wrapper in every turn that lays on top of the previous turn
Mhm.
is wider on the smaller gauges, so you can actually get more flavor out of that wrapper versus a big ring gauge that you have an overlap that is really tiny.
Right.
Plus, I mean, the ratio fit on wrapper on the whole
Right.
thing.
Yeah. You
And
bring
there's
way more
actually
leaves inside.
exactly,
Yeah.
and there's actually an article by Cigar Aficionado the why Lanceros were made actually by Cuba on the first time, and they say the Castro was smoking some of his wrappers, and he said, "How can we make a cigar that people can see actually all the flavors we actually have in the wrapper?"
Yeah.
That's when they came out with the 7.5 by 38 Lancero,
Nice.
because it's a cigar that is made for the people to actually taste the flavor of the wrapper, which is up to 80% of the flavor of the cigar. Sorry. That's why you see companies that make one blend, three different wrappers. Habano, Connecticut, and Maduro, because the wrapper changed the cigar.
Right.
The whole Roja cigar thing is we make cigars where you can taste up to 80% of the flavor of the cigar, of the wrapper, which is the real flavor of the cigar.
Right.
The other release that I have at the show is what we call the unfinished business, and it's this baby right here. It's a box press Sumatra wrapper, Nicaraguan and Mexican fillers. Now, the beautiful thing about this cigar, it's a medium body cigar with a lot of creaminess, a lot of sweetness. Um, Me personally, what I like the most, I love Mexican tobacco. And out of the Mexican tobacco, you get these dark notes, like sometimes it's chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
No. The thicker it is, the thicker it is, the richer it is. So what we did is, how can we imply that flavor on the cigars without putting it as a wrapper? And use the Sumatra wrapper that we use on the street tacos, one of my best-selling cigars, to add some creaminess and smoothness to it.
Sure.
So we actually find some ligero um, Mexican from the Torres family,
Okay.
and we're using that ligero Mexican on the filler, so you're gonna get all that sweetness out of it.
Right.
We mix it up with the Nicaraguan tobacco we grow, and we put that Sumatra wrapper from the Tampa tobacco that is so creamy and smooth. It's the same one we use in the street tacos. This right here is one of my favorite cigars as it is right now, my favorite blends. Um, the boxes are gonna have a little different look on the lid because we didn't have time to get the original boxes in. So it's gonna be more something like that.
Yeah, the sign is really cool.
Yeah.
This is the only one of these that you made? Are there any?
This is the only sign that I actually did, just brought it to the show.
Yeah.
But it's more like a Western type of theme per se. And as I always said, who doesn't have an unfinished business?
Right.
So every time you smoke it, you will be like, I'm taking care of some unfinished business. So on this one, we have 4 different sizes. We have the Toro Robusto Mareva, which is 518 by 42, and we have a Corona size. And my other release was the Street Tacos Connecticut, and this is a complete different blend than the original Street Tacos Barbacoa. It's a it's a Connecticut wrapper from Ecuador with Nicaraguan fillers and binder, but this is more like I would say the medium Connecticut. It's not a flavorless, mild Connecticut cigar. We use a lot of visus, which is the tobacco leaf from the center of the plant that actually give you most of the flavor. So this is up to 80% visus inside of the cigar, so you can get a lot of flavor.
Right.
Box press, same price than the original Street Tacos Barbacoa, and same sizes, which is Toro, Robustus, and Short Corona. Um, that's for the releases at the trade show. Then we have the rest of the things that we have: the Rojas statement, the Rojas Bourbonets, the Los Tejanos, the Cigar Specialist box. But it's been killing with the new releases. People really like it, especially everybody was expecting for this unfinished business and the street tacos, carnitas. And coming up to TPE, we will have breakfast tacos.
Oh, nice.
Which is gonna be a chore cigar, like morning type of cigar, or walk the dog type of cigar. It's a Salomon 5.5 by 42, and we will have it on 3 different wrappers.
Beautiful.
But I'm looking forward to that one too because
definitely
it's that short cigar for a quick time.
We're looking forward to trying this the new street tacos. The original made number 10, I believe, on our top 25 list last year. So
very good.
Interested to see the follow up for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all the info. Is there anything else you want to tell our audience before we let you go?
Well, I always try to just make sure that the audience and the people who are getting familiar with the Rojas brand understand the message or the concept that we're trying to do. Small ring gauges only. People always ask why, and it's what we talked about before. Up to 80% of the flavor of the cigar is actually on the wrapper. The question is, how can we manufacture a cigar that will allow you to taste that 80% of the flavor of the cigar? That is a small ring gauges, everything under 50, so you can actually get the flavor of the cigar based on the ratio, filler, and wrapper. There's many companies that do all cigar for all people, from Lanceros to 7x70s. It just happened that we specialize on a small ring gauges, and I think we are the best making it.
We as cigar nerds appreciate that because we always gravitate towards the smaller ones naturally. So
And that's what I call the Rojas brand, the brand for the cigar specialists, the
exactly.
people who really know about
Yeah.
cigars.
Yeah.
You won't walk in a store and you will see a guy that is smoking cigars for a long time, usually, smoking a big fat cigar.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with smoking a big fat cigar. It's just they know better. They know that there's a lot of flavor. And by the way, there is a small video that I did, which a small test that I did with about 100 people. We call it the Roja Challenge. What I did is I say, pick up any cigar over 50 gauge from any company, and I will send you a free cigar, Lancero or Mareva, and you will smoke it side by side, and you will compare them and let me know. And the video is actually on my Facebook page. There was a lot of people who make it live, and they took the notes. Smoking time was the same because these cigars are made with the thicker tobaccos, so they burn slower. We're talking about 1 hour, 1.5 hours for the Lancero.
Yeah.
And they were smoking Lanceros and Coronas against 60s and 56 and 54s, and they all agree that they were getting way more flavor out of the smaller gauge cigars than the big ring gauge cigars. And that's the way it is. I mean, time frame is the same. Is the same by smoking one of the big gauge cigars than the ones that actually we made, and the flavor wise is better on the smaller ring gauge. So I don't see why not smoking a small gauge.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Understood. Well, thank you so much, Noel. We really
Thanks to
appreciate
you.
your time. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
tuning in. And go try the new street tacos and all the other new lines from Rojas.